Hey there, ECBC family. We love and miss you all a lot. And in an attempt to try to connect with you further, we wanted to provide some midweek videos and some resources and things like that. And for this episode, I guess, we're going to have a conversation amongst a few of the pastors. We have Matt Reagan, Danny Beach, and Leland Brown, and myself. And we're just going to chat a little bit about what we've been doing during quarantine and how it's going. And we hope it is encouraging and or entertaining to a certain extent. All right, guys. So first question I have for y'all is, how has your relationship with the Lord been helped or maybe even hindered during this COVID-19 quarantine season? Like, has it been better? Has it been worse? Has it been about the same?
I think the oldest person should go first. There it is. I mean,
all right. I'll jump in there. Thanks for that, Matt. You're close behind.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything first shut down, which this has been 6 weeks ago now, isn't that crazy?
Crazy, yeah.
School has been out for 6 weeks. I like to be a planner, and so I looked at this and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get so much done. I'm gonna get some reading done, some major Bible study, and memorize all this scripture. And it had a great start. I'll say that. I had my stack of books and I got through some more reading than I would typically, nourishment type reading. And then did some scripture memory more than I had been doing. But I'll tell you what, man, it seemed like at about week 4, I had a turn, and I don't know if I was just getting weary or if it was the social distancing thing and my tanks were getting empty, and it just started feeling dry. And so I feel like that's kind of the season that I've kind of moved into.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been navigating what does this look like now with probably a couple more weeks of this, being faithful to be in the Word and finding my joy in Christ, and really making sure that I'm doing what I need to in my walk with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that. I think on the one hand, it's like everybody, I was talking to one of our staff about this the other day. Everybody's like, what are you going to do with all the time on your hands? But people start giving you all it's almost busier in this season because I'm having 5 Zoom calls a day. And to Danny's point, I feel exhausted. I don't understand myself, but I'm an extrovert to the max. And so I'll be around people all day and feel super fueled. But if I do Zoom calls all day, I feel like I just ran a marathon. I don't understand what that distinction is, but it definitely
like it creates a fatigue, like a different form.
Zoom fatigue. Yeah. Zooming all day, crashing at night. So yeah, I think I have felt that. There's probably more moments. I think I've been off my phone a little bit more, being with the family, and what that has created, even though there's plenty of chaos with the kids, is just the ability to sit and reflect a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I was just telling you guys, I watched Lisa and I watched with the girls, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie last night, the one with Tom Hanks, not the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And so I followed up by watching an interview or two with Fred Rogers to hear him. And one of the things he talked a lot about was silence and the value of silence versus noise in society. And I do feel like, by and large, the spaces in between are not as full as they were before of distraction and silence. And that has been, I think, enabled me especially to sit with God as Father a little bit more than usual. Like I think in the beginning of the break, I thought, now is a time to pray and be on mission in a new way, because I'm in college ministry, to be instead of being with students, we'll pray and pray and pray. And somewhere along the lines, I started getting convicted that I was thinking about the mission, but not necessarily about sitting with my Father. And so I think those moments of stillness in between, what he has done by his Spirit has helped me to think, remember, my bent towards you is in the stillness. I'm your Father, and you can sit with me and walk with me and talk with me. And so and I think the Mr. Rogers element, actually, God is not Mr. Rogers, right? Like, there's a lot about Fred Rogers that God transcends, but there are a couple things in there in just his kindness and his fatherly heart that I think have been helpful to me.
Yeah. It's good.
My walk with the Lord has been really up and down. I think it was super weird to have a baby at the start of this quarantine. Particularly, our baby was born super medically endangered in the NICU. We're like, able to hold him for the first 24 hours. Just it was crazy. I've never really it's one of the worst days of my life. And then all of a sudden he recovers within 24 hours. We're home 2 days later, and we're kind of in baby land. We've forgotten about COVID-19. We'd be stuck in the house anyways. And then now we're back, and there's all these financial concerns in our places of employment and all this kind of uncertainty and navigating the new normal. And so I have been really up and down. But I think the Lord is really just teaching me to trust him. I think we've had a long stretch just circumstantially in our family where we haven't really had any circumstances that have really pressed us in our security. Like we've just been secure. We haven't really known that, but we have been. And so this new season, I think, is just stretching me to really trust the Lord when there is some like tangible circumstances that make me feel insecure in what the future looks like. And so I think it hasn't been easy. I mean, I've been super up and down, but it's been really good for me to have to press in with God like that.
Yeah. I think up and down is something I would say and kind of like sympathize to a little bit as well. Like I think I thrive under structure. Like I think I benefit from having routine and like clear expectations. So when all that's kind of gone and like there's like a new environment like we're working from, and like schedules have been altered and changed, like it requires like a lot more planning and even just intentionality on my part to get in the Word and to pray and to do some of the things that I would not normally have to think too hard about doing. I guess on that, and like y'all kind of hinted at some of this already, but like, do y'all feel like y'all have been more or less productive during this quarantine?
It depends on what you mean, man. Like, depends how you define productivity.
Yeah.
I think I normally, because of the nature of my personality, I tend to equate productivity with time with people, or less tangible benefits of time with people. And so it's like, it feels like a productive day if I got around. I've had this many beneficial heart conversations or ministry conversations with people. And so there are some days where I'm like, that day felt way less productive to me. But as far as thinking through and writing out thoughts and establishing kind of future structures and plans, I don't know if I've been more productive. I feel busier in that regard. It's taking me against the grain of my normal personality.
Yeah. I think there's like weird things I feel like have created busyness. Like we're expecting a little girl in a few weeks. So I've been like painting a nursery and doing a lot of home projects and cleaning out the garage and stuff. But because we're at home and we're cooking all of our meals, like there are dishes every single day. They're always there. Like they don't go away. Like I come down the next morning and they pile up. They grow in the night. So like there's some things that are like requiring more time of me that maybe wouldn't normally.
So I got to have dinner every day, basically, because there's 6 people in the house just chowing.
Yeah.
I think to Matt's point, it's like, especially as pastors and with different people in different jobs, this is going to look different. But we've had a major part of our job halted, like planning an event. And, multiple teaching venues are no longer happening. And so doing different things and feeling like it's a new type of productivity. And so I've had way more phone calls with in interaction with people that I know, but maybe don't know well. And just it has a totally different look to it, and planning for the future, that kind of stuff. But it's weird to pause a significant part of what I've been doing, organizing events and the teaching for those events, and just kind of not doing that for now. Yeah. And then that space up with something that I'm not as familiar and not used to doing. Has been weird. It's been different.
Mm-hmm.
I think so I'm working from home with lots of small children in the house and an infant. And so my time to be productive has greatly decreased. But I think I've been really challenged to figure out, instead of trying to do everything, like what are the what are the couple things I have to do and must do, and what are the most important things. And so I think I'm still being very productive. It's just I've had to really hone what I'm doing. There's one fun thing for me is that I've been trying to get together a small group of guys, particularly guys who are sensing a call to ministry, and to work with them and kind of help them process that. And we just never make it work. And all of a sudden, because we're on Zoom, we got it going. So I think there's been some cool opportunities in this weird season. All of a sudden I can be on Zoom calls from 8 to 10 PM. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, I'm here, we can still dig in with people, and I can be available for the kids if I need to be. So I think that's been interesting, but my time for productivity has greatly shortened, for sure.
I think what you just said is really interesting, because it's like there's a new category for availability that we didn't necessarily have before, because we used to associate availability with presence.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, this is the Jetsons. Like, this is the future. I can get somebody's face in front of my face anytime during the day now, well, especially right now.
Yeah.
The availability, there's actually a consistency to that availability that was maybe lacking before. Even though I vastly prefer face-to-face, like not making eye contact with my camera on my computer that's somehow looking like I'm making eye contact with you. But actually making eye contact, I vastly prefer it. But right now, there is a category that's introduced that.
Do y'all think we'll have any sort of carryover with Zoom meetings in the future? Like, will we keep doing these at any point after quarantine drops and we can be in person, face to face? Obviously, I know what your preference is, Matt, but like,
I don't think Matt will.
Yeah.
Well, new category.
I think to some degree, it has been freeing to say that if I can't get the win of getting these 3 or 4 people in the room, a Zoom call is still helpful in some ways. And so I think there's some flexibility that I plan on taking into a future where we hopefully can gather personally, but we can't make it work. We can just start somewhere and do virtual meeting. I think it's been good.
Yeah.
I think it's game changing. I prefer face to face 10 times out of 10, but I have had some very meaningful Zoom meetings, and I think it just makes it a great option. When this thing first started, I was like, man, I'm still going to be meeting with people. We're still going to do this. I didn't know it was going to turn out the way that it did, but we're all sequestered, and there's been some really nourishing times on video chat.
Has been good. So being quarantined, most y'all with multiple younger, smaller children in your house, has that, I'm sure it has had an effect, but like, how would you summarize like some of the changes and effects it's had on like your marriage and parenting dynamics?
Go, Danny.
Bring wisdom, man. Come on.
I'll tell you what, it's day to day, first of all. It is day to day. And, my wife is a superstar, and I'm married out of my league. But I will say this. I feel a little ashamed how busy I was. And our dinner time around the table has been special. And I, pre-COVID-19, was trying to figure out how we do this family discipleship thing. How do I Deuteronomy 6 my family? It was just, I don't think I was doing it really. And we have had some of the best, sweetest dinner time, family walk time in the life of us as a family. And I desperately want to hold on to that. It hasn't all been poster child kind of stuff. There are times when I am walking home in silence because I'm so angry on our family walks. But so there are some lessons there that I want to learn really well as far as family time goes.
Yeah. I agree. I think we use the word sweetest, and I immediately start examining, like, is it sweet? And then you say what you said. I'm like, yeah, I feel some of that with the emotions run hot sometimes. So it's not like, family devotions are, I was watching this thing, I think it was Don Whitney, right? And he said, read, pray, and sing. Maybe one of you guys shared that. And so we've been trying to do that, read, pray, and sing. and brief devotion in the morning, follow up at night. And so I think the sweetness is in the consistency or just the presence, like we're together, and we're walking around the neighborhood endlessly, because that is, we don't walk around the neighborhood, we're all going to go crazy, especially the parents. But yeah, so the sweetness piece is probably just in being able to be with them. I partly blame the early mornings of school versus what we have now. It's like the kids actually wake up when they would normally wake up, and we have a slower morning before they move into the homeschool curriculum. So we get some time to really dive in. We've been diving into the Sermon on the Mount, verse by verse, section by section. But yeah, so I would say sweet means consistent, and they're taking in the concepts, but not necessarily sweet in the sense that every walk, every family devotion doesn't feel chaotic. Every single one. There's not one when I thought, wow, Lisa and I look at each other like, wow, they were totally calm, and we didn't have to discipline anybody during that. So yeah, sweet in one sense.
Yeah, and I imagine the live streams have been interesting for you all as well, because Matt, you sent me a video of your son doing the worm during Buster's sermon, so I can imagine what the devotions look like.
It was the Good Friday service. It was
the
solemnity of Good Friday combined with Eli doing the worm across our living room carpet. That is a microcosm of all of it right now.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing that's been that I've just noticed in talking to other parents of young children is how each family has its own unique dynamics, and there are unique sweetnesses and unique struggles. We shouldn't want to have like other people's families, but like in my family, we will have these moments of just like the kids are being so kind to each other. They're helping with the baby. They're like all about it. And then somehow everyone in the room is screaming at the top of their lungs, and we're just running for the hills. And so it's just been fascinating to me to kind of think through like, and I think the consistent time together has produced both the sweet moments we would never have in regular life and also the chaos. And I think just for that reason, I mean, I think one of the ways my marriage has changed is that one of the best things I can do to love Sarah is just to jump in and give her 30 minutes to an hour of no kids. And that's something that I didn't normally do back in the day, but it's become a big deal now. And it also helps me just get some perspective on what she is doing whenever I'm working, which is a lot. So that's been a change and it's been good. I mean, it's been really good. But we have high highs and we have low lows. And that's just kind of how we're operating right now.
The problem for us with high highs and low lows is that our high highs also include screaming. It's like when they're happy, they're screaming, and when they're mad, they're screaming. Yeah, it's both.
Yeah. Are you a screamer, Matt?
What's that?
Are you a screamer?
When I get really excited, he's high soprano, baby.
I believe it.
I feel like we just need a pair of noise canceling headphones, and Sarah gets 30 minutes, I get 30 minutes. We'll just trade throughout the day. Like something like that would help us, I think.
We do have a pair. Like
Smart.
In real life, we have a pair. And,
wow.
They usually, I wear mine sometimes. The kids are usually Eli and Lucy switch between themselves, but I looked at Lisa the other day and said, I think like 50% canceling earplugs are not neglectful, so it may be that we go
50. Yeah, that's good. Have y'all developed any new hobbies or habits during this time, being at home so much?
So we live with a kind of a retention pond in our backyard, and I thought it would be a great idea to help show my girls a little bit of the wildlife. So I have made several homemade live traps for like turtles and squirrels, and I have not caught a single thing. So if you call that a hobby,
yeah, that's
let it be. But it has been 100% unsuccessful, and the girls have totally lost interest. But like before this quarantine's over, I'm going to catch something.
Yeah, maybe you could call your hobby trap making, but you can't call yourself a trapper until you trap something.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Next episode, I'll let you guys know.
That's good. That's good.
That's pretty good. I played one round of Tiger Woods on the Wii. 09 every day. I have my own
Mhm.
character. It kind of looks like me. Play one round to build up the PGA Tour season, and one of the perks of being a race, um, parents live on the Wando River, and they closed the boat ramps for quite some time. They actually just opened them up, kind of to my father's chagrin, the other day because we had the whole river to ourselves.
Mhm.
And we have just been crushing the redfish over the last week. So it's not a new
That's
hobby,
awesome.
but it's
Yeah.
going. New hobby is that we have a wall of fame, and at their house, and the person who has caught the biggest fish this season goes to the top of the wall of fame. So Brenda will buy a 8x10 and a 5x7 for everybody's fish picture, and
Mhm.
she buys the 5x7 in order to demote that picture whenever the new 8x10 goes up. Whenever somebody catches a bigger fish.
That's awesome. That's really funny. Yeah.
This isn't nearly as exciting as Danny or Matt's, but I've started taking the kids on walks, and we found out that our neighborhood has like 10 trails in it, which we did not know before. And so
That's cool.
we just walk in the woods and avoid snakes.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
I've been cooking a lot more from home, obviously, like we all have. But I learned how to cook a deep dish pizza the other night, and I did it in honor of the MJ documentary coming out. So we ate Chicago deep dish pizza last night, and I would call it a success. I was very pleased with it. But yeah, she liked it. Yeah, yeah. It was a win. I think we'll do it again. I don't know if we'll do it every time we're watching the Michael Jordan documentary over the next 4 weeks, but that brings up another topic I want to ask y'all. There's obviously a huge increase in time at home, and screen time has gone up. Leland, was it you that said like the national average for hours watched was like how many a day?
I remember 8. I think it's 8.
8 hours a day is what people are averaging, like streaming something like Netflix or Prime or Hulu. Right? That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yes.
That's a lot.
That doesn't include like what we're doing right now.
I don't know. I mean, I usually don't believe statistics when I first hear them. I'm always a little skeptical, but I've heard something like 47% of statistics are made up on the spot. So it's just hard to gauge that. Have y'all watched or seen anything good in the last couple of weeks? Like any movies or TV shows that you would say like that was some worthwhile screen time right there?
That was some worthwhile screen time right there.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever say that.
For that.
It's worthwhile screen time. Come on. What you got, Danny?
Since this is a church,
you can mention Tiger King. I know you love it.
We have started 2 different series and decided that we should stop watching them. And so we're kind of 0 for 2 right now. We did find this new trilogy called Lord of the Rings. I think it came that we have been watching again. And so that's what we've been doing.
That's good.
As adults, we've struck out. Nothing I feel like I can heartily recommend. The funny thing is when kids have movie time, we'll watch it with them. And I had never seen the Cars series before.
Really?
And I love it. Yeah. I mean, I'd watched them, but the Cars, it's great. So
yeah,
1,
it is
2,
great.
3, I like all of them. So that was good. That's all I got though.
Solid.
Yeah, I have watched a lot of really, really bad Disney shows with our kids, like a good handful of Disney Plus things. Although Boy Meets World, we ran that back around, and it's really
Classic.
quality. Mr. Feeney, great character.
Topanga.
Yeah, Topanga, really mature for her, incredibly mature for a 12-year-old. For sure. No, well, as I mentioned, we watched the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie with Tom Hanks. I thought was really good. We finally got around to starting This Is Us. I was not, for several years, I was reluctant because I cried at a 2-second preview of This Is Us and thought, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah, I only made it 2 episodes for that same reason.
Yeah, and we're about 6 episodes in, but I can do about 1 a week. I just can't handle it. Like there's just a mix of reasons why, but emotionally it's very heavy and it's very, very close to home for us. But we're trying. You know,
that's cool.
Yep.
I was probably most excited about the Last Dance MJ documentary that aired the first 2 episodes last night. So Cam and I don't have kids yet. That'll change in a few weeks, but so we watch a lot of movies at night and stuff. We also have started rewatching Scrubs because we never really watched it when it was on TV. And there's actually a podcast that Donald Faison and Zach Braff are doing where they're rewatching all the episodes and talking about them, and it's really funny. So we've been doing that, and then just picking out like different movies in the evening and stuff. Yeah, I saw that comment. Knives Out, we saw that in theaters right before quarantine. It was really good too. Yeah. Are there any podcasts that y'all listen to on a consistent basis or have discovered during this time that y'all enjoy?
So I've been enjoying a Village Church podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Faith. That's been a favorite of mine when I've been running. It's probably 40, 45 minutes, and it's fun. There's some good back and forth there with some of the staff and pastors. But that's kind of where I've been camping out. I'm not as well versed in the podcast world as some of you guys are. That's been one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Matt, are you much of a podcaster?
Nope. I get all of my podcast recommendations outside of probably Pass the Mic with Jamar Tisby.
Mm-hmm.
And, they come from you. Yeah. And I always enjoy him. I mean, I think anything with Bill Simmons, I think is really fun.
Yeah. His Rewatchables podcast is probably my favorite one, just because I like movies a lot. So he'll bring on like some notable guests, and they'll just go back through a movie and talk about like the best scenes, the best line, who won the movie, what if other people were cast in it, and depending on like the movie matter, it's really funny. It's really entertaining. It makes for like good listening, like when you're doing like the dishes, you're on a walk or something like that. Leland, anything for you?
Not a super podcaster. I really enjoy audiobooks, and so that's most of my listening time.
Are you listening to any audiobooks right now?
So I'm actually listening to so I'm doing Tim Challenge's 2020 reading challenge, and so he picks categories of books for you, and I'm reading a book by Puritan. So I'm reading The Bruised Reed by Richard Sibbs, and it's been fantastic. I mean, a lot of books by Puritan are hard to read. This is super simple, and it's great. It talks a lot about the Lord's gentleness and mercy towards us, and so it's been great. While I do the mountain of dishes that we have, it's been fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're a fiction family, and so I don't know how you guys do with fiction. I know, Van, you're a big fiction lover, but we'll do like teen fiction type books, and so
like Twilight, or what are we talking about here?
Nope, never read Twilight. Don't plan to. But we all have read Harry Potter. A lot of us. So there's a series called Keeper of the Lost Cities that Annie has read 7 600-page books since the quarantine, all Keeper of the Lost Cities. I'm in the first book now. It's really fun, but we're big into the fantasy. I find it to be helpful. I think fiction tears the mundane veil off of reality a lot, and so we do fiction and have fun with it. That's what our whole family is doing to Keeper of the Lost Cities right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dan, you read anything good right now?
I'm a Paul David Tripp fan, and when we jumped into this, I wrapped up his parenting book that I had set down at some point, and that's the only one I've had here in quarantine. Yeah.
I'm rereading The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt by Edmund Morris. It's like the first part of a 3-part biographical series on him, and it's like hands down like one of the best biographies I've ever read. It's really, really good. I could not recommend it enough. It was like an incredibly wild life for Teddy Roosevelt. All right, I got 2 more questions before we wrap up. What are y'all most looking forward to when the quarantine ends? Matt, let me guess for you. People, your people.
Hugging people. No, not just people.
Hugging people. Yeah.
Might be a while for that, Matt.
But get ready, Leland. You're just gonna get snuggled.
Matt, are you recommending that instead of the shaking hands at church, we're going to start hugging?
Well, if Holy Kiss is out, then yes. But I don't know. I think I just really, I'm missing I touch people like on the shoulder and stuff. Like everybody I see, I touch them like that, or something. It's like it's always very appropriate, just not, I don't know. I was about to make a Joe Biden comment, but I decided not to, but still kind of did. See, I'm like, I do think I might be extra affectionate for the first month after the quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to restaurants.
Sure. I like those. I miss those.
Yeah. Lauren is a big foodie, and we like to get a date night in every so often and kind of just go and kind of do our thing downtown. So that'll be nice out there. And
I really miss going to the gym, like, a lot.
What have you been doing instead of going to the gym, Van? Why don't you share just for a moment? Quarantine.
Yeah, I've tried to get kind of creative. I mean, I have like some stuff in my garage. Like, I have a giant tire and a sledgehammer that I can hit, like pretends like I'm chopping wood. I have a kettlebell. I have a big sandbag I'll carry around. I've also taken up the pastime of lunging for as long as I can, like for like a mile or so. Yeah, like a mile or something. It just feels efficient and effective. But I'll be really happy when I can just go back to the gym and life will be normal.
Then, I told you 2 days ago that I did the 150, it's like 450 lunges in a row, basically. It's like lunge, 150 in a row. That's one rep. I can't walk today. Like, I'm incredible. Like, I'm like a baby giraffe. Like,
it's a good sore.
It is. It's almost past good sore. I'm that.
Yeah.
We are not all equal when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's like saying, I really miss eating healthy. I'm looking forward to getting back to eating healthy.
Yeah. Leland, what are you looking forward to?
So I'd say everything you guys said is definitely on my list. I think I'm just excited to have people in my house. It's been weird having a newborn, not having anybody over. So like, I'm excited to go in and get to see him. And I think I'm also excited just to be, I think our live stream and stuff has been really good, but I'm excited to be in church and, do all that stuff in person. But I'd love to have people over soon.
Yeah, that's great. On that, Leland, like, are there ways that you expect church to, or maybe like worship just to look different going forward? Like maybe we don't do a handshake greet for a while or anything else?
No!
There's that scream.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. Like, we don't have any clear answers for what it looks like yet, but I'd imagine there'd be some changes. I think the essentials will stay the same. We're going to worship corporately. We're going to hear the preaching of God's word in person. We'll have other stuff around that eventually, but I think I really don't know, but I do think it's going to look different.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
I think that people are going to back. And my fear is that we will get really busy really quickly again. And so that might not happen, but I hope that this is teaching us that we really need the body of Christ. We need each other, and we're made to be social creatures, but we're to thrive spiritually around other believers. And I hope that we can hold on to that.
I hear that, Danny. I want to make sure that people hear what you just said in one way and not in another. I think we do need the body of Christ, meaning, and what we've been saying for the last several weeks, all of us have been saying, we're still the church, because the church isn't necessarily a geographical location. It is the people. And so we need each other. So there's a difference between saying we need the location or we need the programs to lean on, as opposed to we all need to co-own our faith relationally together. So it does feel like this season, when you talk about rushing back, like one of the things that I get nervous about is that we would stop owning the day-to-day walk with Christ and the day-to-day connection with people that we're doing right now as soon as we're able to gather back together, because we will lean back on, to use political terms, the federal government, so to speak, in the sense that like the church is now going to provide these structures for me. And so my ownership naturally diminishes somewhat. So I want to, whatever ownership has, the tide has risen during the season, however we can keep that, it's a big, big deal.
Yeah.
I do think, even though we're not sure exactly what it looks like, most likely, besides like corporate worship, all of the additional stuff we do will have a very slow start. We'll kind of tiptoe back into the old. So I think it'll be a good opportunity for everyone to say, let's pick a couple of things, but own that Christian life personally and not just kind of jump back into our old routines.
Yeah, that's good. Well, guys, this was fun. I hope you all enjoyed having yourselves recorded and filmed. And we'll look forward to doing this again sometime.